What's wrong with the Raiders' offense? As we approach the bye week, reports suggest our team is in dire need of a spark. With inconsistencies plaguing play calling and execution, fans are left wondering if there's still hope on the horizon. Should we brace for a major overhaul or trust the process? Join me as we break down the latest developments and what they could mean for the remainder of the season. Be sure to subscribe and like this video to keep the conversation going. The Las Vegas Raiders are struggling, and it's clear that the offensive identity is lost in the mix. With a record of 2-6, there's no denying that this team has one of the worst offenses in the NFL. I want to dive into what this means for us as fans and how it impacts our hopes for the remainder of the season. Antonio Pierce, the head coach, has made it clear that he wants to establish a strong running game. He's adamant that whether through play-action passes or just lining up and running the ball, we need to be effective. There was a glimmer of hope when we faced the Los Angeles Rams, where we managed to rack up 122 rushing yards. But then, in a perplexing move, we opted to throw the ball 44 times, completing only 21 passes. What's going on here? Pierce emphasized the importance of sticking to what works, and I completely agree. He mentioned, "You see this in other teams, and I can't help but think, why aren't we doing the same?" Execution is key, and it seems like we have a lot of players not on the same page. The offensive line has been a disaster this season, and it's not fair to pin all the blame on our offensive coordinator, Luke Getsy. When I asked Getsy about the inconsistencies in our offense, he acknowledged that it's a team effort. He believes we're improving week by week, but I'm not so sure. Sure, he's not responsible for the penalties or injuries, but he's at the helm of this ship. The frustration is palpable among us fans, and it's hard to see a clear path forward. Multiple sources from around the NFL have chimed in on our struggles. One quarterback mentioned a lack of adjustments and how critical it is to adapt during the game. It's shocking to think we could be so rigid in our play calling when the whole point of being in the NFL is to adjust and outsmart our opponents. An executive pointed out that it feels like there's no continuity in our strategy. Pierce has a vision, but it doesn't seem like the team is carrying that out effectively. Another coach called our offensive play calling painful to watch and criticized the lack of creativity in our running game. This is concerning because we have to find ways to outsmart the defense, not just run the same plays repeatedly. And let's talk about Joe Philbin, one of the most respected offensive minds in the league. There's a feeling that he needs to have a stronger voice in the room. We're missing a sense of purpose on offense, and I can't help but wonder if that's because we're not tailoring our strategy to fit the strengths of our players. We should be maximizing what we have rather than forcing a system that isn't working. With the bye week approaching, there's urgency to fix the offensive issues. If Pierce doesn't make significant strides against the Bengals, it may cost him and the coaching staff dearly. This is a pivotal moment for the Raiders and our fans. It's hard not to feel anxious about where we're headed. So, the question remains, are we on the right path? I genuinely feel divided about our current trajectory. Are we going to see some much-needed adjustments, or are we stuck in this cycle of mediocrity? I want to hear from you guys. What are your thoughts on the direction of this team?